morning. Hope everybody is doing well. Before we get started, just want to go through a few housekeeping items. So this year we have, first of all, thank you so much for coming. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Sorry, I skipped that part. Before we get started in our actual presentation, though, I want to just make sure that everyone is registered for points in e-learning management. If you're only here for content, don't even worry about points. You don't have to register. But if you do want points, please make sure you go to ELM. You look for weekly webinars. It should pop up. There is only one course for the entire semester through the end of December. So you just have to register once. What you'll do is in the homework portion, you'll click that add button and you'll go ahead and add your homework week by week. And there's a little plus sign next to where the add button normally is. So you can keep hitting that plus and adding more and more homework. There's also a video explaining how to do that on my weeklywebinars.palmbeachschools.org page. So feel free to go there and watch that video if you're not sure how to update that or upload that homework. Also, on weeklywebinars.palmbeachschools.org, some of you may be watching there. Above and below the video on the first homepage is a sign in. That is how we're going to measure our attendance. So please make sure you click on that Google Forms sign-in sheet and sign in weekly so that we know that you are here, and that way we can give you the proper points. Okay, so today we are going to learn all about Google Cast for education. In our Google Plus group, we have a special Google Plus group for anyone interested in Google products for School District of Palm Beach County. Feel free to search for that and join us. That has been, seems to be at least, the number one issue we're having in classrooms is casting. So I thought the very first webinar should be on Google Cast for Education. So here we go. My name is Melissa Matthews. I work for the Department of Educational Technology, and in that department, we teach teachers technology, and we make sure that you accurately and engagingly add it to your curriculum to make learning more engaging and more fun. These webinars are available every Tuesday from 8:30 to 9 a.m. or the same webinar is from 3 to 3:30. So you only need to attend once on a Tuesday. Unless you miss something and want to attend again, you're welcome to come to both. Everything you need to know about the webinars is on our website. It's weeklywebinars.palmbeachschools.org. And today in the background, I have Mike Goldstein from EdTech as well, who is helping me with logistics and making sure that everything works. As some of you know, we used to use Adobe Connect, and we thought that Google Hangouts Live on Air would be a new mode of presenting our weekly webinars to you this year. So we're trying that, and Mike is my genius in the background helping if anything happens. Okay, moving on. So Google Cast. Google Cast is a free Chrome extension that allows students to share their images up on the big screen in the classroom. So as you circulate that classroom and you see that student doing that marvelous work, and you want the rest of the class to be able to see that marvelous work, all they have to do is hit a few buttons. They can project their image onto your big screen and show the entire classroom what's going on. This next page is actually for a chat window. So, and I just told you what it was. Those slides were reversed. I'm sorry. So we're going to skip this. And I always like to have my webinars interactive. So you're going to see when we have the next chat window how to do that. But actually, if you'd like to chat now, if you are on our weekly webinars website, in the bottom right corner of the player of the window you're watching me on, if you wiggle your mouse, you'll see where it says YouTube. If you click on the YouTube, it'll take you to the YouTube website, which will remove you from the weekly webinar website, but it will also give you a chat window on the right side of the screen. So any questions, anything that comes up, you can always chat your questions, or we will have another question later on, so you're welcome to answer it there. Unfortunately, I already told you what Google Cast for Education was, so that's kind of a non-question. So we're going to keep going. So get mobile. Casting is a great way for you to cast from a laptop or a Chromebook and be able to walk around and teach from anywhere in your classroom and not be tethered to your desk. So please, I encourage you to start using Cast to walk around your classrooms, teach your students, and not be stuck to that desk. So how do I do this? So the very first thing you need to do is to sign into Google Chrome. Google Chrome is available on any computer. So as you launch Google Chrome, if you are on a Chromebook, when you sign into the Chromebook, you are automatically signed in to Google Chrome. So you do not need to sign in on a Chromebook. However, if you're on your Dell or if you're on a laptop that is not a Chromebook, you do need to sign in. So in the top right corner, you're going to see just where that little red box is, either your name or a little head. If you see a little head, that means you are not signed in. So to sign in, go ahead and click the little head, and just below should be a blue sign in button. And actually, it may not be blue anymore. They've changed all their colors. But go ahead and click that sign in. It's going to ask you to put your entire email address in, and then your entire email address in again. So you may want to copy it the first time. Then it will take you to our typical login district screen where you put your username and your password. You only need to do that once. So when you log in your Dell, you're going to sign into Chrome once. Now you can sign in, sign out, do whatever you want to do, turn off your computer, turn it back on. Until you go and physically sign out of Chrome, you will be signed in on that device. Now, that doesn't mean if I go to Mike's computer that I'm going to be signed in over there. It's a different device. I would need to sign in again. Now, why do I want to sign in Chrome? Well, all of my extensions, and you can see all of my extensions, I have way too many there, will appear when you sign in, and also all of your bookmarks will appear. So you want to make sure that you sign in so that all of that comes with you wherever you go. The next thing you want to do is you want to go to the Google Chrome Web Store. So just search for the Google Chrome Web Store on your browser. And this will be recorded and is being recorded. So feel free to watch now. You can always go back, play it again, pause it, start it, and do exactly what I say as we go through it. So a lot of you probably are feverishly taking notes. All of this is recorded, so you probably don't have to. And I also am making a step-by-step guide to Cast for Education. So I will distribute that as well. It will be on the weekly webinar website. So you will not need to feverishly take notes. So first we're going to go to the Chrome Web Store. So just search for that, Google Chrome Web Store. When you get there, you want to search for the Cast for Education or Google Cast for Education. There is a beta one now. We are not using the beta one. We are using the real one. And you're going to click a button that says Add to Chrome. It's normally on the right. If you already have it, it now says Added to Chrome. They've changed it a little bit. Now, it used to say Rate it. Now it says Added to Google Chrome. Once you add it, you have to launch it. So in the top right button, in fact, let's do that now. Escape out of here. So here is my button. So I can launch my Google Cast for Education. So that's my extension. And the very first time I launch it, my settings box opens. When the settings box opens, you need to give your receiver a name. So let's take a step back and figure out what exactly Google Cast for Education is. So think of fishing. Your students are the fishermen, right? They have their image. They want to share it with you. So they're going to cast their image. But actually, maybe baseball is a better scenario. But they need someone to receive their image. So who they're casting it to, someone has to catch it. So you are, the receiver is the catcher, right? Hopefully that makes sense. I'm looking at Mike for feedback. Yeah? Okay, good. So we need a receiver. So we need to name our receiver. You're Your receiver is only going to be seen by the people that you share your receiver with, and you're going to see that on the next screen. So my last name is Matthews, so I named this Matthews MacBook. I have a Chromebook, and I called that one Matthews Chromebook. I have a Dell, I called that one Matthews Dell. That way I can look at my student and say, cast that to my MacBook, please. And they'll say, sure, no problem. And they'll go and they'll cast and they'll look for the Matthews MacBook. That way they make sure that they send it to the correct spot. Now, you can also make it automatically full screen when someone casts to your screen. That will make it so that everyone can see the entire screen. The second box, automatically send usage statistics to Google. Well, I don't want to have to tell Google something's broken. I'd rather them just know and fix it. So I always keep that box checked. And the last one, display background images from the web. I always keep that unchecked because I don't know what Google or the internet land is going to have appear on my screen, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I keep that unchecked and I go ahead and I click save. The very first time you use this, share will automatically pop up. So if you haven't, you can go, if you've used it before, go ahead and click share now and this box will pop up. Now you have the ability to add emails, so specific people. So I could add Mike Goldstein and allow him to either request access or just automatically present. I want you to see what it looks like when he requests. So I'm going to have it can request. And I'm going to click add. So you see Mike appeared up here and he can request access. I can also choose classrooms. So a lot of us run our classroom out of Google Classroom. So therefore, when a student leaves our class or enters our class, we're immediately going to go to Google Classroom and we're going to add that student or remove that student. If I work my classroom in that manner, these here will automatically adjust who can and cannot have access based on what you've done in Google Classroom. So this is a great thing to do. I can add a class. I can say teachers can present, students can request, or everyone can present. Up to you. That could be a little scary for some, so completely up to you. And go ahead and click add. And they'll pop up there at the top and you can see. I can also add groups. So let's say I'm having a PLC with my 5th grade team. I can put in the school number, 5th grade, and I can give them all request or present permission because they're all, doesn't seem to want to do that. They're all adults. So every 5th grade teacher can present and I can click add. Now, this is not going to allow me to add it because I am not at 1651 and I'm not in that group. So I'm not able to do that, but you at your school should be able to do that. Okay, and when we're all done, we go ahead and close it and it saves it for us. And it's all done. And I'm going to close it again because it didn't like that. There we go. And so now, as long as this box is open, people can cast to my computer. Okay, so I have to have this open in order for it to work. It does not have to be in the front. I can minimize it and make it go away, and that'll work just fine as well. Let's just peek here. So now we have that. So now what? How does the student get their image to you? So any computer, they do not need to have Google Cast for Education because they're not receiving anything. They are casting their image to you. So all they have to do is open up their Google Chrome browser on whatever device they're on. They're going to hit the 3 dots and they're going to go down to where it says cast. Now, they have the ability, I can click Hang Out with Melissa Matthews. I can cast to Matthews Chromebook. These are the places you automatically have permission to send to yourself. So those are the destinations that I have. You may have no cast destinations found because no one shared with you yet, and that's okay. The biggest thing to know is next to cast to. By default, it's only going to share that one tab. So you're not going to be able to see YouTube. You're not going to be able to see weekly webinars. You're only going to be able to see this one tab if I just go ahead and launch. But if I want my entire desktop, let's say I'm going to teach this way and I want to be mobile. I can click that down arrow. I can say I want to cast my entire desktop, and then I can choose my destination, and it will automatically present my screen on the big screen. So we're going to go ahead and have Mike cast his desktop to us so that we can see how this works. Now, also know this works from anywhere in the world. So if you're out in Pahokee and you want to cast to me here I'm actually in North Palm Beach at the Pew Center, you could do that. It works just fine. So look, Mike has just requested to cast. I'm going to click on that, and boom, he has just taken over my screen, and he's showing us his Trailblazer overview page. And you can see he's only casted a tab. And I know that because I don't see his doc and I don't see his bookmark bar at the top. I only see the contents of that one page. So there you go. So now he's cast. I don't want him on here. So I'm going to wiggle my mouse. Actually, I'm going to press escape. So wiggling my mouse doesn't work. Normally you get a red X up here, or an X. Doesn't seem like I can bump you. Press an escape. Problems. There is my X. And so I hit the X and I get rid of him. It's that easy. So I can just hit that X, make his image pop off my screen and make it go away, and I'm back in business. Now, we have had a couple people have issues with this here. So once you've casted with the 3 dots and you go down to where it says cast, this icon will appear, or extension, I guess, will appear. This is also a cast icon, so it does the same thing. So if I hit that, it's going to bring up that same blue box. However, if I right click on it, I have this enable cloud services box or line that has to be checked. If it's not checked, for some odd reason, it does not work. So if any of your buddies are trying to cast and they're doing everything that we've done up until now and it's not working, right click on that little icon and enable cloud services and then try it again. And hopefully it should work. And that in a nutshell is casting. So here's your question. So if you're still on the weeklywebinars.palmbeachschools.org page, please go to the YouTube page. And actually, I'm going to go there as well. So if I'm on the weekly webinars page, I'm going to hit that YouTube link in the bottom. And I'm actually going to do that because it's probably easier to get there. And I'm going to see my chat screen on the side. And hopefully this will update. Oh, now I'm hearing myself. I muted it. And I can see all this chat going on. So if anyone can tell me, what do you think? Why do we need Google Cast for education? How are you going to use it in your classroom? How is it going to change your instruction? And I know there's about a 5-second delay, so I'm going to allow for that. But what do you guys think? Why do we need Cast for Google Cast for education? How is it going to change the way you teach? And while you're answering, also, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask them now in the chat window as well. Also, there's a great step-by-step guide here, but I am building my own as well because there is some confusing lines on that one and it's not editable. So I'm going to paste that link in the chat window for you so that you'll have that. But also, any questions you have, why would you use Google Cast for education? So Dan Henderson had a question, how to add cast for students. So they don't need the green Google Cast for Education. All they need is the 3 dots and to cast. Or if they already have that icon, the cast icon, they can do the cast icon as well. They should not need, maybe can you use to send to lab? Okay, perfect. You can send it to the lab students so that they can share while you're in the lab sitting there working. This looks horrible. We're seeing screen and screen and screen. Okay, so if you want to cast your screen to a student, Cast for Education probably will not be your go-to. I don't believe students can receive images, basically for a lot of reasons, bullying, social emotional learning, all sorts of reasons why it's probably not safe for students to be able to cast their screens to other screens. So therefore, they cannot have a receiver on their device. Students cannot share their screen, but they can share their screen to the teacher, Tiffany. That's perfect. Yes, so that's a great way to share their marvelous work for other people. And also that way you can maybe raise that bar a tad bit, right? So let's say Mike did this fantastic project that is leaps and bounds over what some of your other students are doing, and you want to raise that bar and what you're receiving, you could definitely have Mike cast his image up on the big screen, and that way everyone else says, oh, mine's not that good, or maybe I need to step it up a bit. So that's a great way to raise that bar. So we're going to move on real quick. Homework. December 21st is when all of your homework is going to be due. So first, you need to make sure that you've signed in for that live attendance. You need to do implementation homework. So it's the same as every year. I know some of you were here last year. So if you weren't, all you need to do is use the snipping tool, or there's a Google extension called Lightshot, which is very similar to the snipping tool, where you can take a picture of your screen showing me that you've used Google Cast for Education. Now, I need to be able to see that either a student is casting and I can see the X or the settings gear like we saw with Mike, or I need to be able to see that you've actually created your receiver and you've shared it with people, so that I know that you've actually used Google Cast for Education. And also in ELM, there is one survey that you will take to make sure that you've completed, to give me some pointers and some tips and tricks for improving my instruction. This is the first of many for the school year. So if you have some constructive criticism, I am happy to take it. Please just email me, melissa.matthews@palmbeachschools.org, and let me know what you think of this platform, and if there's anything we can do to make this more engaging or more exciting for you. The next class is going to be October 2nd. It's either 8:30 a.m. like this one now, or 3 p.m. They're both a half hour in length, and it will be on Google Classroom. So we're going to go over some of the basics of Google Classroom. You do not need to attend every single week. I know a lot of you on this screen could probably teach Google Classroom for me. So unless you need points, feel free to skip a week here or there, or come every week, whatever works for you. Make sure that these webinars are meaningful to you. I do not want you wasting your time, even though I love to see my numbers go high in my attendance. I also want to make sure that I use your time wisely and that I don't abuse that. So please come if it's meaningful to you and going to be helpful to you. Google Classroom has changed quite a bit from last year, so I am going to show a lot of new features that they offer, so it may actually be helpful to you, so you can make that judgment call. Thank you so much for joining me. We actually finished a few minutes early. If you have any questions, you can always find me at my email, melissa.matthews@palmbeachschools.org. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful Tuesday. I'm going to flip over to that YouTube and see if there's any questions. So we need a new software to share manage the lab. Yeah, this is not lab management, Dan. This is definitely something different. We used to have, I know that you know, Synchronize and there, I think a Smart Sync. I believe Land School has been approved through TCC for usage. Hi, Nancy. Have a great day. So you may want to look into that. But this is Google Cast for Education will not be a screen lab management software platform. Sorry. Oh, Tiffany is giving us some pointers about Land School. I don't know much about Land School, so you may want to just look into that. Any other questions? Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Good, Greg. I'm glad that this is working well. And I like the fact that not only will it record everything for me automatically, so I won't forget like I did last year, but that it will track everything. It'll show me who's watching, how many are watching, how many watched the recording. So it's pretty cool. You submit your assignment in ELM. So you're going to sign up for one class in ELM this year, Greg, and it's going to, and then you can just keep adding pictures into that same little box, if you will, in ELM. So there's 3 boxes, one for attendance, which I mark, one for your homework, which you can just keep adding pictures to, and one for that survey. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you have a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you next week for Classroom.